Paul, 6 games to go, and you know now, 4 wins and you'll be promoted.
We just keep going, to be fair. It's I think when the finishing line gets in sight for most teams, the objectives become a lot more clearer. You know, it's been a long season for everybody now, and you know, as you guys say, the final games you get to single-figure games, and now where we're at with teams with 4, 5, 6 games to play. You know, everyone, like I said, all along people anticipate what's going to happen, and none of us know. You know, there's so many twists and turns ahead in football. There's a really bad result out there for us all. You know, that's the nature of the game. You know, we're going along okay, the lads are working hard, and we'll just continue trying to do what we're doing. You
must be really impressed with how the side's going about it, though. Over 100 goals in all competitions now brought up against Rochdale on Tuesday.
I just keep going. You know, I've never been a manager that sort of sits here and goes, you know, we're doing great, or quite the opposite. If we're not going so well, I wouldn't be overly heavy. I think you just keep working away at what you're doing. You know, as I say, the finishing line's coming, and after you get past that line, it's then time to reflect on possibly goals scored, goals conceded, points achieved, etc. But with the games to go, you know, now's not the time for that for me. You know, albeit when you go past markers like that, you know, it's great credit to the players for sure.
So things like records, it's not something you and the squad will be looking at. It's something in years sort of gone by. You'll reflect on at the time.
You just, it's football. You know, you don't have time to do it. You know, if it seems a blink ago we're on the bus coming back from Portsmouth and we're all feeling down. You know, a blink later, you know, it's football. You know, so if you want to sit down and go, well, we've had a great week, haven't we? We've done really well. We've won a cup and everything's good. And at 5 o'clock tomorrow night, well, we're back now, being all my what happened. It's football. You know, the most important thing is come the end of the season, the points tally that we get is what we'll deserve, and then that'll go down with the rest of history in terms of what we're going to have done.
In terms of the team news, then we saw Nick Powell come off before half-time against Rochdale. How is he?
It's Nick. It's Nick, isn't he? It wouldn't be a Friday without us all worrying about Nick, would it? You know, Powell's having an outstanding season, contributing not just in the team's general play, but in the goals scored. I think, you know, one of the most impressive things about Tuesday night was you see that James Vaughan can come off a bench and we look equally as threatening. So what will be with Nick. You know, the chances are he could be fit. You know, but if he's not fit, then we know we've got plenty of replacements chomping at the bit to play.
And in terms of what you've got available to you, normally play with that lone striker, but with Grigg and Vaughan on together, really showed the firepower in that second half at Rochdale.
Well, I'd be a brave manager not to play them two, wouldn't I? And I'm not that brave, that's for sure. You know, we have these options, you know, and it's good to see. You know, I've always, as a manager, ideally preferred to play with one up front, which creates an overload in the middle of the pitch for us to dominate the ball, etc. Everyone knows what that does. You know, but when you have 2 strikers with the qualities that we have, we've also then got a Devante goal and Noel Hunt who can come on the bench. You know, our firepower is quite clear for all to see, so the options available are very good.
As for next game tomorrow against Rotherham, a side who've been in that playoff place all season, and a side who, having got relegated with Latics last season, have really rebuilt strongly. That's
good to see, isn't it? You know, they're a really strong football club, they're a good club. No facilities, infrastructure, everything about them. Paul took the job in the Championship, albeit at a very difficult time, probably for Paul in his fledgling days as a manager. I think he'll be a lot more comfortable in that seat now. You know, at one time this season, they genuinely looked like they could force their way into the top 2. That's great credit to Paul and his staff. They're in the midst of a really good season, albeit it does look like a playoff team now, which will be deemed, in my opinion, as great success for Paul. You know, they'll plan probably at this moment now going forward for that, if that's how it's to be. So what Paul and staff and, you know, the players do tomorrow is down to them. We're just looking forward to the game. It's our next game, and you know, we'll approach it in the same manner we always do.
And having come down with Wigan and Blackburn, you don't often see all 3 sides who go down have such strong seasons, but they've certainly had a strong season.
And they have, you know, great credit, because, you know, I think once you have that relegation for everyone, people go through different circumstances in terms of personnel, you know, changes in different stuff, you know, and it's every relegation team has some kind of hangover. It's not easy for football clubs. You know, Rotherham done what most teams probably don't do, which is kept the manager. You know, in my opinion, it's always been the right thing to do, but football doesn't deem to do that. Paul knows his club very well, his players very well, no different than Tony at Blackburn. You know, they're all having good seasons, and as I say, to date, that's all it is. You know, the most important thing is when the season finishes, the places you finish is the most important thing for everyone.
And a chance to make it 3 wins in a row following the defeat at Portsmouth and get closer to that promotion line.
Just keep going. As I say, you know, we all have tallies and points targets. You know, I think for most teams, it's 90 points has always been a big target because it normally guarantees you promotion. You know, unfortunately for this year, it looks like there could be 3 teams that go past 90 points. You know, that's how it looks. So it doesn't guarantee your promotion. So for us, it's very much fixed and focused on what we have to do. We genuinely try and take each game as it comes, and you know, tomorrow being Rotherham, that's our next one, and we'll just hopefully get the 3 points. If we don't, we'll move on to the next one and we'll keep going like that till the promotion races comes to a conclusion.
And tomorrow for the club as a whole, it's football for forces. They were armed forces personnel, past and present, come along to the game, and great to see them welcomed along.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see them welcomed along. I think, you know, in the present climate in all countries, you know, the job these lads do and doing every day in difficult places and difficult circumstances should never ever be underestimated. You know, they deserve so much more credit than they get. I think tomorrow is a fitting day, and the least we can do to sort of highlight the importance of their roles in what we live in.
And is it a case of it shows the work, the whole club, not just the football team? It's been a great season for the football team, but the whole club in how it's portrayed and how it's operating.
I think that's how it should be, though, isn't it? You know, if you have a happy club, it's not just the manager or he takes the plaudits or the chairman or the chief exec. It's about you know, in 90% of places it's your community club. You know, football clubs mean so much to the people in every community. You don't have to be a Liverpool fan, a Manchester United fan. You can be a fan of Lincoln, of Chesterfield, of anyone to equally love your club. We feel we've got a very strong community club at Wigan, and I think we can all enjoy the day tomorrow.